What's going on, everybody? So if you're here, you obviously want to know about the 70-200 f2.8 version 2 G Master lens from Sony. I've had it for a little while now, and if you've never had it before, I'm going to save you some time, so listen up. The lens quality on this thing is excellent. You can get amazing shots like you're seeing here, no problem. It has an awesome focus motor, and it's got features for everything you want. You can get full-time DNF, meaning that if you're trying to focus on something that's just not quite doing it, you can focus manually, even if you're in autofocus, like at the last moment. It's what I had to use to get like this shot here through the leaves of the snake. You obviously have optical image stabilization, and you have different modes for your optical stabilization. One that's kind of for everything, one that's specifically designed for left to right panning, and then one that works with the image stabilization on your camera to produce an even better result. But it uses more battery as a trade-off, but you have options for all three of those. You also can change your focus range, and of course you can switch from autofocus to manual focus. You also have the ability to declick the aperture, and you also have an iris lock down here if you need to lock your iris for at a particular f-stop or over on automatic, which you also have an automatic switch, and you can use the camera controls, not on the lens. So long story short, if you've never had the first version and you need a 70-200 of a really high quality, this thing is absolutely amazing. I mean, you've got 3 customizable buttons, excellent image quality, and like I said, super fast focus motor. But that's kind of all you need to know, because you can find tons of technical results, but it's not a bad lens by any measure. You will absolutely be happy with it. So if you like the fact that I saved you some time, hit the like button and comment down below. Thanks for saving me some time. Now, if you have the first version and you want to know the differences, let's get into that. Now, the first major difference is focusing. If you had the first version for any amount of time, you know they had some quality control issues with focusing. Like the focus motor was kind of slow, but for the time it was made years ago, it wasn't terrible. But it would also back focus on some copies. So it would say that it was in focus in camera, and then it would be just behind whatever the subject that was in focus, and it was just kind of annoying. You do not have to deal with that on this version. The other negative was the weight. Now, I cannot stress enough how much lighter this thing is than the other version. On paper, it roughly says that it's 30% lighter, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like a lot, but in practice, this thing is significantly lighter than the old version. Incredible if you have to come out to places and walk around and use it. I've been so thrilled with that. And between that and the focusing, oh my gosh, like incredible. Because the last one, quality-wise, once you got it in focus and everything was good, produced amazing results. So results I'm not getting into, like you can see them here. You can see all this stuff that I've shot. It looks fantastic. But it's just so much easier to get those results now. And that's like the biggest thing for me. Now, another change that I really like is the updated lens hood, On the first version of the 70-200, you had that sort of four-petaled flower design, and this one is just a round one. Still has the slot for getting to your ND filters and stuff, which is nice, but then it also has this black rubberized edge, which really helps cut down on the glare. It's another one of those things that you're not going to notice if you didn't have the first version of the lens, but it's really, really nice if you did have that first version. One thing that's really interesting with this lens is it technically has a reverse zoom on it. So at 200 millimeters, the lens internally is at its smallest point, and then at 70 millimeters, the lens right up at the top, at its longest point. Very interesting. So there's 200, and there's 70. It's interesting, and I wish I could get a better shot inside, but the glare is just going to be too much at any angle. But it has like a cool bellows sort of thing in there, and you can see it contracting and expanding as you zoom in and out. Very cool mechanism. I also really like that now the focus motors are upgraded with those linear focus motors, so that it's fast enough that you can put a 2x teleconverter on this and get some extra reach to 400, or then you can put it in APS-C mode and get it out to 600. So if you have just the 2x teleconverter and this lens, you can effectively have a 200 to 600 as well. And it's sharp enough, it's quick enough that having that 2x teleconverter doesn't ruin the experience, which it kind of did on the old one. People that have the old one, you know what I'm talking about. The motors were so slow, and then you add the teleconverters on, and it was just, you weren't catching birds in flight, right? Like landscape, sure, things that weren't moving, but all in all, excellent features if you're looking to upgrade. They really listened to what we as photographers were wanting in a new version of this lens and made the upgrade worth it. So if you're in the market for a new one and you're like, oh, I wonder if it's worth the upgrade from my old one, 1000%. That's exactly what I did. I traded my old one in on MPB because they gave me an excellent price for it. And then I bought this one, and I have not regretted it because the upgrades are so tremendous. All right, I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any more things that you would like to know about this lens, please put it in the comments below. And as always, I hope to see you out there. Bye.